when they go to suck blood, they go Super Saiyan and have an orgasm.
Oh my god.
Listen, I mean, I might too. I'm just saying.
Whoa, Cass.
Have you ever sucked blood? How do you know that doesn't actually happen?
Exactly,
Cass, are we
Craig.
learning-
Don't just it until you try it. Don't kink shame, bro.
I'm not kink shaming. I'm just learning more stuff about both of y'all.
きっと約束だよいつかまた同じ笑顔で
Hello to all of you lovely listeners out there. Welcome to Annie Chatbox, episode 44. My name is Cammie and I'll be hosting you today, and I am joined with a lovely full house. Let's start with my best girl forever and always, our dear producer, Cassie.
The only thing that would have made that better is if you started singing the Full House theme song.
Oh God,
Does anybody remember it? Because I sure don't.
Everywhere
you look,
That's
everywhere there's a heart. Yeah.
There we go.
The other person who joined me in on that introduction singing was the gentleman of many voices and humors, Craig.
Hey, what's up, Internet? How's it going?
And of course, last but not least, we have our beloved Brit of the box, and that is John. Would you say hi?
Hello, everyone.
Yay! So we are all here and excited to get started with another episode for you guys today. But first, as always, if you would like to get in touch with us in any manner possible, you have some options with twitter.com/theanniechatbox. You can send us email at anniechatmail@gmail.com. If you want to listen to us, check out iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, or SoundCloud. If you would like to be so kind as to donate to our future podcast endeavors, check out our Patreon at patreon.com/Annie Chatbox. All right, it is the final third episode of our seasonal splash tank, which, if you haven't been tuning in, that's what we're calling our impressions section nowadays as we sink or swim. So, yay! I'm excited. Each of us will be talking about one show, one of our last shows from this fall season that we will be doing impressions on. And I'm going to start with my beloved Cassie, who has a show for us on the docket.
Yes, but you know what's more entertaining than talking about this show is hearing Cammie roll all of her R's, which I found out is something she can do recently. But yes, my last anime that I'm putting in that tank, I'm going to throw the ball at and we'll see if it sinks to the bottom or swims out to safety before it drowns, is Animegataris. Which is animated by, I just had the studio open and then I kind of wanted to kill myself, but they are WAO World or WoW World. They did such beautiful things as Hametsu no Mars or Mars of Destruction, which is not their best work. However, I did find out that they also did Speed Grapher, which is a guilty pleasure anime of mine that I watched back in high school. Which by no means of any stretch of the mind was a great anime, but I enjoyed it. And they also did something called Ultramaniac that looks kind of cute.
Oh, I read that manga in middle school. It's a cute one.
Yeah, so I guess it's kind of a hit or miss studio. So we're going to see whether this one was a hit or a miss. So before we do that, let me go ahead and hit you with a synopsis straight from my anime list, which is the anime centers in on Manoa Asagaya, a new high school student in Sakaneko Private High School. Despite being a novice to anime, Manoa's classmate Arisu Kamegusa invites her to make an anime research club at school. Through conversations with her classmate, as well as various anime-loving upperclassmen, she gradually gets hooked on anime. While they stand against the student council's continuous efforts to disband their club, and they ignore the impending end of the world, they talk about anime, whether in Akiba or in real-life sacred place anime settings or the hot springs. So, I picked this show because it looked like a light-hearted romp and something that would be full of lots of anime references. And to its credit, it does do those things. It is very light-hearted, and it does have several anime references that are heavily copyright avoided, so you kind of have to squint to know what they're referencing. So, like, for example, one of the girls is obviously a ReZero fan, and they ask, "Oh, are you an AM or Emily fan?" kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
And you have lots of different interesting tropes. So you've got anything from the one who loves the light novels, so she can be a little bit critical of the anime adaptations, to the know-it-all girl who knows everything about anime from beginning to end and is just a gigantic encyclopedia, to the cosplayer, to the chuny, to the hot guy that's there for I'm not entirely sure what reason. And then you've got our poor little main protag who does not know shit about anime. And she tries. I don't want to say that this show is horrible, because somebody enjoys it. It currently has a 6.64 rating on my anime list, which isn't off. Okay, it's pretty bad. But I think it's because this is geared toward a very specific audience, and a specific audience that can look back past bad animation quality and past continuous jokes that are made over and over and over and over and over again. The people who are watching Animegataris and are enjoying it are the ones who are getting the references, who are noticing everything that's going on and can appreciate the subtleties and not the stuff that's right in your face. So if that sounds like it appeals to you, then I would recommend it. But otherwise, I watched this actually with Craig as well. He watched the first episode and he was not a big fan. I liked the first half of episode 1, not so much the second half. And then episode 2 and 3 were not very good either, in my opinion. The colors are way too bright sometimes. The animation models move weird. The characters are strange and interesting, but for the most part, they see the same things over and over again. For example, there's the rich girl who's absolutely freaking into anime, but she flips her finger, snaps her finger, and her butler comes in and cleans the room. They use that same joke, I think, probably 7 times in episode 1. It also doesn't help that they're trying to put in, I'm guessing this is referring to the end of the world thing, but they're trying to imply in episode 1 that there's definitely something darker going on, but then they never talk about it ever again. And it's just, it's not very well executed, and I don't know. There was a boys' love moment almost once in episode 3. And there's a chuny. It sinks. I don't like it. It's not very good.
What does it sink in?
I'm going to say that this show sinks very, 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 very deep into a puddle or into a gigantic anime collection of DVDs, but all of them are open, so as it's dropping through and sinking into them, the DVDs are just slowly cutting it to pieces.
Dang!
It's not very good. I tried so hard to say some appealing things about it, but it's just really not good.
I guess you already mentioned one, but I was gonna ask, I guess, was there a personal favorite reference they made that you liked? Would that be like the ReZero one, or like, was there a different one?
The ReZero one was cute. I think one of the things that I enjoyed was it almost made me feel bad. I think it knew that people were going to try and drop it at some point, because it gets very meta at times. And in episode 3, they have a moment where they talk about the 3-episode rule.
Nice.
And they were like, how could you stop watching an anime at episode 3? You don't really understand what's going on. You're not giving it a real chance. And I'm just sitting there like, well played. I'm still not going to continue watching you. But
totally fair. I could see the appreciation in that moment.
Everybody
Nice.
seems to hate Kai, but he's kind of my favorite. But he's
Is he
also
the
a
cat?
chuny. No, he's a chuny. He's the one with the glasses and the gray hair.
Nice.
Immediately when he walked on screen, I actually watched this with Suki, Craig, and Zach. And Zach was like, God, I want to punch him. Just from, like, the one sentence he said. I'm not entirely sure what Craig felt about it.
I felt nothing.
Okay, yeah, he didn't like it at all. I think, actually, you would have loved the blonde girl, Cammy, because she's, like, kind of an Ojo-sama.
Yes!
And very cold and hard to approach. Yes. But in episode 1, and this is what's kind of appealed to me and almost gave me a little bit of hope for a bit, the blonde girl, whatever her name is, I'm so bad with character names, especially when I just don't give a shit. Kamigusa Arisu. There we go. She drags main character girl, whose name I've already forgotten, Asagaya Minoa. She goes, okay, meet me after school in this classroom. And she's so intimidated. And she's like, what did I do wrong to piss off the rich girl? And, of course, rich girl is just, oh my god, so I heard that you mentioned that you watched one anime episode. Do you like anime? I like anime. Let me talk about all these things I absolutely love. And she goes into complete nerd mode. And she just really wants friends. And she gets really heartbroken when she realizes all of it's going over Manoa's head.
That's literally me. Just like whenever I go to a social function where I don't know people, like if I even just hear them remotely say something nerdy, I'm like ready to just pounce. It's like full just like nerd mode. And then they're like, yeah, no, I've seen like Spirited Away, but that's it. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'll just sit here in my corner.
Who's my favorite character in Spirited Away? See, my favorite.
Exactly.
But
right.
yeah. It had some charm, and I can see why some people might enjoy it, but largely it's looking like most people aren't with its current score. And also most people I've talked to about says that it seems to have at least a little bit of potential, but I can't see it. The anime references are kind of fun. And if you watch shows for that, then I would recommend it to try it, but it's not very good.
Good to know. Probably not the worst venture we've had so far, but yeah, another sinker. That being said, Craig, you have another show on the table for us. What you got?
Yes, I do. Gear up, kids. We're going to talk about superheroes with the Infini-T Force. So that's Infini-T Force. Studios, Tatsunoko Productions, what they've done is skip dance, and they've done some of the Nurse Witch Komugi stuff. I know Suki's a fan of the Nurse Witch Komugi. Synopsis basically goes as such. Emi is a 17-year-old girl living in Shibuya. Her father is always away at work, and she's grown listless. Suddenly, a twist of fate involving a certain magical item changes everything. A mysterious pencil, of all things, is linked to the appearance of heroes from other worlds. Could this be the start of an excitement that she's so desperately craving? Or is there something more? So, right off the bat, we get introduced to this girl and the Tatsunoko production IP characters. We have Ken the Eagle, we have Casshern from Casshern Sins. Ken the Eagle is from Gatchaman. We have Polymer Man, which is another Tatsunoko IP, and we have Tekkaman, which is another Tatsunoko IP. The thing is, they all get transported from their own respective worlds to this one, and what links them together is this girl's quote-unquote wish to essentially have them there with a magical item, aka this pencil. Sounds pretty interesting, right? However, I will say that this show is not fun to binge. Me and my friend Zach have been watching this show off and on, and we both admittedly dropped this show, which gives you the indication that this show is going to sink. The show is all CG, and it does action pretty well. I like that, which is really nice. But, however, I will say, the main girl is really unlikable, and the only characters I kind of like in this show are Ken the Eagle, because in this iteration he's an old man, and everyone else is younger than him. And that's kind of funny to see him try and interact with a team when he's used to his own team in his own alt world. However, I will say, it's kind of, episodic, and it seems like it goes through the paces of focusing on characters trying to fight a villain's team, which wants this magical pencil to rewrite the world and grant their wish. Within the first 3 episodes, we find out that, and this is a spoiler, but for the first 3 episodes, that the villain is this girl's father that's always away from home. And really, that's all that we got with it. I didn't really feel too engaged with it. Like I said, the only standout was it does action scenes well, but some of the characters kind of come off as brooding, standoffish, or some are just kind of dicks to each other. The girl's kind of a bitch, and everyone hangs out at her place, and they're like, why don't you help us? And she's like, why don't you all leave? And I'm like, okay then, cool. This is an interesting thing. So
I'm not sure if I'm following completely. So she accidentally summons them, I guess, and then
Yeah.
doesn't want anything to do with them?
yeah, essentially.
Did she give a reason why? Or is she
No.
just kind of like, why are all these strange people here? I mean, because I could kind of understand if, like, a bunch of people are suddenly in my house and they won't tell me what's going on. And I'm like, get the fuck out. But
Yeah, it's weird because she summons someone there and she's not exactly sure why, and they help her out and save her at times, but she's just like, you did me a solid, so whatever, just you can stay here, I guess, but you have to leave at a certain point. And she keeps getting in trouble and they gotta save her, and I'm like, okay. It also probably doesn't help that I don't really know, and this is my fault on that I was just like, I don't know much about the Gatchaman or the Palomar Man or Kashern or Tekka Man. I just wanted to see them all co-op together, but I think it's kind of rooted in their own individual lores that kind of makes it hard to really get into. And the thing that draws them all together isn't really compelled. Like, maybe if this was like a meta-narrative on Tatsunoko IPs, I'd be into it, but it sinks.
into?
It sinks into some tapioca pudding.
Okay.
So a
Sounds
light
good.
sink? Because tapioca pudding's pretty yummy.
Yeah.
Maybe you're right. Some tapioca pudding that's sat out all day long.
Oh god, I mean, you don't have to do a mean sync, but it's all on your feelings.
Yeah.
Oh my
Okay.
goodness.
Good to know. Good to know that is the end day of your true feeling.
Oh, actually, let me just say while I'm here, real quick, final thing. Mal's score is a 6.37, so some people do like it. However, it does have its flaws. So make your own
A 6
judgment.
is not a good score.
Hey, sure enough.
Noted. All right, John, you've got some updated news on your impressions and a title to throw at us.
So, right, I was supposed to be reviewing RoboMasters. However, unfortunately, it seems like nobody is watching RoboMasters. The series is actually over now because it's only 6 episodes, and only 2 episodes have been translated into English. So it was like my hand would be forced to sync this because I can't watch it. I can't review it if I can't actually understand what's going on, can I? So, instead I am swapping out with Osake wa furu ni, Osaka we, excuse me, Osake wa furu ni natte kara, aka Love is Like a Cocktail. It is animated by Creators Impact, who have also done such wonderful shows as Bloody Wars, Netazor Trap, and Hacker Doll the Animation.
So wonderful stuff so far.
Stuff that I haven't actually watched. The synopsis goes, Chisato Mizusawa is a reserved but excellent and pretty assistant manager in her company. She has a secret that only her husband Sora knows, which is that she likes drinking alcohol, and she can be very cute when she is drunk. Even tonight, she gets relaxed with the phrase Shifuku and drunk with a cocktail that Sora makes. It's a yoidere, or drunken dere, cocktail remedy of Japan's closest husband and wife. Has been rated a 6.59 on Mal, if we're going into that, and yeah, this couple are incredibly cute together.
Yes.
Like, they are the perfect couple, and like I can see no fault with them. But she's also incredibly embarrassed by how cute she gets when she's drunk. So she kind of adamantly refuses to drink out without with anyone. And like people at her company are constantly like, come and drink with us, and she's like, no, I have to get home to my husband because reasons. And then she gets home and she's like, man, I want to drink, but and so the husband makes her a drink. She's also an incredible lightweight. Even more of a lightweight than I am. Like, she takes a single sip and that's it, she's drunk. But, yeah, she's adorable. This series, unfortunately, is also, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but this series is also short. Like, the episodes are, 5 minutes long.
Is that a bad thing?
It's a good thing because the episodes never overstay their welcome, and effectively, it doesn't have time to get boring, but it also doesn't really have anything to it beyond, oh hey, here's this amazing cocktail that I'm doing today, here's the ingredients for it, and here's our cute little reaction to this drink.
Right.
And I have to admit, they make every drink in that sound really delicious, and I want to try everything that they've mentioned. But it's like, okay, but what kind of discussion can we have from this at the end of it? Because is there anything really to it? But at the same time, I will watch the entire thing because it is so damn cute. So I'm not sure if I should have it sink or swim. I'm still humming and hawing about.
Well, you have to make a decision. I'm putting a gun to your head. 3, 2, Cock's gun. 1. Do you want to die?
Okay. It's cute, it's harmless. I don't see why we couldn't just watch it, and so I'll let it swim because it doesn't. It really doesn't do anything wrong for me to justify sinking it, in all honesty. So
honestly, I was hoping you would let it swim anyway, because there's a very interesting discussion going around about the show, and I'd really love for us to all talk about it.
Oh yeah.
Whether it promotes alcoholism or not.
Huh.
Interesting. I have not seen any of that discussion, and I'll have to look.
Same.
A lot of negative reviews I've seen of this show are, enabling your alcoholic wife, the anime. And I'm like, okay. So that'll be an interesting discussion we can have later.
I was gonna say, yeah, I'm gonna withhold. I have a lot of things to say.
I have a lot of things too.
Yeah. I will say though that. So have all of us at least seen one episode? Because Cassie, I know you have.
Yeah.
Craig, have you seen any of it?
Yeah, just the one.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. I find it very cute and enjoyable. So I'm really, really happy that you passed it. I think that it's harmless. It is fair to say that, the no substance thing is just basically, you could say that as a warning to people who are like, I like my anime with heavy plot. Then it's like, okay, don't check this out. But, It's refreshing and it's cute, and I enjoy it a lot, personally.
I will say a couple of things immediately against the whole, it's enabling alcoholism. Not all of the drinks that he makes are actually alcoholic. There are a couple of non-alcoholic cocktails that have come up.
I'm very excited, and I will also say that they did a cocktail in one episode that I have had before, and I was like, oh, I know this one! It was just a fun shout out. So yeah, that'll be one to look forward to. And I'll just segue into my last impression from there, which is on...
What the?
Which is on a little show that Cassie and I know very well. And it...
Wow.
I don't know if you're happy or sad.
Good
Oh
Lord.
God, okay. And that is the second season of Sangatsu no Lion, or March Comes In Like a Lion. And Sangatsu no Lion is done by Studio Shaft, who have also animated the very well-known Monogatari series, and Madoka Magica, to name a few. And the synopsis, the base synopsis, this is essentially where we start off at season 1, is Rei is a 17-year-old professional shogi player who lives by himself. He is estranged from his family and has scarcely any friends. Among his acquaintances is a family which consists of a young woman, Akari Kawamoto, and her younger sisters, Hinata and Momo, who also keep several cats. As the story progresses, Rei deals with his maturing as a player and as a person, while developing his relationships with others, especially the Kawamoto sisters. And I go back to give a base synopsis because if you search on places like My Anime List, they just say, oh, it's the second season to March Comes In Like a Lion. So there is that. And as far as the quality for the show goes, definitely go back and check out the episode where we did review it. Safe to say that a lot of us highly enjoyed the show. And so I was very, very excited for season 2. And quality-wise, like, it, if anything, has just, like, skyrocketed more. And it's to a point where I'm just like, how is this prettier than season 1? Like, the animation just is, like, above and beyond now. And I'm just like, how? Like, you were at this tall pillar, like, already. I don't understand it. And the quality consistently is just matched at the same place as the first season. And the manga has so much material to go off of that it just basically continues right where season 1 left off. Mm-hmm. I do know about the future arcs to come because I have read a good chunk of the manga. And I'm very excited because while I think that the first season is very intensely just an introspective on Rei's past and how he develops as a character, now we're going to get a lot more depth on some of the side characters and how they act as a catalyst for Rei's future progression, is basically the way that I will put it. It is tackling themes that I think all of us can relate to or will find some emotional stake in, and I think a lot of people will. In general, we're only like 6 episodes in, and a lot of people have been like, oh man, like these last few episodes have been hitting me like a truck. So if that is what you want, oh, be prepared. It is so good. It is so enjoyable. It's so quality. Everybody knew, but obviously the show swims because who am I?
I literally would have cried.
Well, again, do you know who I am?
I do know who you are, but I also know that you like to make me suffer.
Oh, snap.
Oh, dang. Okay.
Everybody does. It's everybody's favorite pastime. No, joking aside, like, as somebody who has been hit by a truck before, I can say that this is a much more enjoyable experience.
Wow.
Yes. And it's beautifully done. I also do think visually, too, another thing I guess that I do want to mention is they're really, really, really nailing in that they're like, yeah, we're Shaft and we can do artistic imagery, and they're just really digging deep there.
How many head tilts?
A lot more.
Are the head tilts more?
I'll be honest, they're more, and I don't like them, but that's just a personal complaint.
How about that stained glass?
I don't know. That's not something I've noticed. But either way, like, obviously also, the head tilts don't detract me enough to be like, oh, just dump this show. It's just, for me, sometimes they feel invasive, where we'll have, like, 3 sequences of head tilts in one episode, and I'm like, break, please. But no. I mean, that's just Shaft. It is still amazing, and I can't wait for us to review it. Yay!
Nice.
Okay, but that being said, Cassie has some extra news for us, so I'm gonna push the mic over her way.
Okay, cool. So last season we had a lifeboat, and we saved Princess Principal as it was floating into the ocean, and we have yet to decide whether that was a good or bad idea, which is probably why they let me go again. So I discovered this little show called Inuyashiki when I was watching a watch party over at the AAA, or Anime Addicts Anonymous Discord channel, and if you like them, you can go to their Facebook group, and I'm not going to promote them anymore. That's not my job. But anyway, they were watching this anime, Inuyashiki, and I watched the first episode, and I was absolutely blown away by, like, how different it was. And I felt that it being a very popular anime and one that a lot of people are having a dialogue about, I should at least check it out. And so I did. And I would be lying if I didn't say that part of the reason that my eyes lit up and I was like, oh, I need to watch more episodes of this, is that it's animated by MAPPA. And I love MAPPA. And in the past, they, or at least in the past couple of season or so, every time I pick up one of their new shows, I somehow end up getting horrifyingly disappointed. I'm still not forgiving them for that anime about idols being in government. That was rough. Mm-hmm. That was real rough. But they have done other anime that I have loved, such as Yuri on Ice. I know that Cami is also quite a big fan, and I also know John enjoyed that anime as well. They also did Zankyo no Terror, which is an anime that I love a whole lot. And they also did Kakegurui, which is an anime that we will be actually reviewing next week. Spoilers.
Wait, they did Kakegurui? I thought that was Lerche.
No, that's not Lerche, dude.
It was MAPPA.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, that was completely 150% MAPPA. But we're talking about Inuyashiki today, and I'll go ahead and give you a very quick synopsis. Inuyashiki Ichiro is down on his luck. While only 58 years old, his I can't say that word. Basically, he looks old. Have often written him off as a pathetic old man by the world around him, and he's constantly ignored and disrespected by his family. Despite all that he's done to support them, they basically won't give him the time of day. On top of everything else, his doctor has revealed that he has cancer, and it appears that he has little time left in this world. But just when it seems like things couldn't get any worse, a blinding light in the sky strikes the earth where Ichiro stands. He later wakes up to find himself unscathed, but he soon starts to notice that there's something different about him. However, it turns out that these strange new changes are just what Ichiro needs to take a new lease on life, and now it seems like there's nothing to stop him from being a hero worthy of the respect that he never had before. So, the whole first episode follows this poor old man, and I have never seen somebody so down on their luck. And it's just so sad. He gets a new house for his family to live in, and nobody talks to him from his family. They don't like the house. They make him feel like shit about it. They go out to dinner. They leave him behind. They never really say or do anything to thank him, even though it's heavily implied the mom doesn't work. And he goes and just works where he is obviously extremely socially inept. So he doesn't have a lot of friends, and then he comes home to a very ungrateful family. So he's got it rough. On top of that, he's got some physical problems because he has cancer. And you can see it then the way that he moves at the beginning of the anime. He's moving slower. He can't respond to things as quickly. And then when he's told he does have cancer, he tries to tell his family. He tries to call them. He tries to even tell them that he's sick. And none of them will even give him the time of day. And it's just really sad because it's never implied that there's anything that he's done wrong to them. He's just a pushover. And at some point he gets a dog and it's his only friend. And dear God, my poor heart, like up until that point, I was just like, my God, ow, what is wrong with you? And basically what happens is at that point, him and another character that you don't see there at the time, I don't believe, get hit by an alien spaceship and instantly die. And the aliens say, oh, fuck, we just did something bad. We should probably rebuild them so that nobody knows that we killed a bunch of humans. Or 2 humans, I suppose. And that's what makes this show interesting, is you get 2 people with basically the exact same power set, but they use that exact same power set in completely different ways. One obviously wants to use it for good, and one wants to use it for blatant evil. Like walking into a house randomly, picking a random family, and murdering everybody in it. And
oh, that kind of duality is so good.
It is. And for a while, I wasn't sure what to do because the story is really good. Episode 3 actually really hit on some very, very cool issues about why this psychotic kid likes to kill people and why he thinks the way he does. So it's definitely a very intricate introspection of psychology, and how his upbringing, or maybe even just how he thinks about life, is so different from this man who grew up just wanting someone to love him. And you get to see them using their powers in different ways. While he's slaughtering an entire family, the old man is healing a cat that got hit by a car. And it's going to be interesting when these two are obviously at some point going to have to fight each other. My problem was that, one, the CG is absolutely atrocious. The CG, the CG is not constant. And the character designs otherwise are fine. The animation quality when they're just moving around and doing things is fine. The opening, I might actually have us watch after this because the opening is fucking phenomenal. But I was worried about how brutal the show is. There is children who are murdered. There are animals that are murdered. Typically off screen, there is a crow that's shot right out of the air. And the murder of one of the families, because there's one family he goes in and murders and they don't show anything. They just show him walking into the house saying bang, 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 and then he leaves. But the first murder that he commits and we all see is very brutal. And I'm worried that that might not be something that some people on this podcast could handle, to be blunt. However, I did talk to Craig and he said he would watch it with me. So I'm going to swim it because I think it would be just sad if I didn't. Like, I feel like it's a show that needs to be talked about. So that long introduction aside, yeah, it looks like it's going to be really good and talk about some very interesting issues. I'm just worried at some point I might actually have to take a break, but we got lots of time. So we'll see.
I like shows on the duality of man and how man, like, a character study. I used to be really into like shows like Lost and The Walking Dead, and to bring it back to anime, I really like Parasite despite that being body horror. I like to see how people handle situations when they're given powers that are out of this world, so to speak. And I've heard interesting things. I heard that the CG is really weird at times, but that being said, yeah, I just know that this mangaka is the same as Gantz.
Yeah.
So he does have a very nihilistic view on humanity, so it can kind of come off as dark. So I'm very curious to see how this all comes together. The source material is done, so I'm very curious to see if the anime will adapt the entire thing.
It's only going to be 11 episodes, I believe. So that's another reason why I'm, like, very hopeful that they're not going to drag it out. And of course, everybody else here is welcome to jump in on it if you want to try it. But I wanted to have at least one person committed to sticking through this with me. So I really hinged sinking or swimming it on Craig. And he was like, yeah, sure, why not? And I was like, well, all right. At least one person stuck with me now. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. And I think it'll be a very interesting discussion.
Yeah, I definitely think that it's pretty much very much a standout this season for how unique it is. I'd placed it somewhere on my just like list of things that I was willing to give an impression of just because it seemed really cool. And like you said, the opening is amazing. I definitely at least want to check out a couple episodes, and I'm pretty sure for me I'll get a sense of if it's like something that I can handle the brutality or not. Because like story-wise, I think it sounds amazing. Like I'm getting like kind of Eden of the East vibes and like monster vibes and stuff.
Oh, definitely.
And, yeah, so
maybe we can,
that's always really
maybe we can watch the episodes together. That way if it's bad, you'll have someone there with you or something. I don't know.
True. I always like a excuse to hang out with your pretty face.
I'm kind of with Cammy on this. Like, I've been really hesitant to check this out, but maybe I should.
I mean,
just because.
Don't push yourself. I mean, I'm just going to say, like, to you guys and to whoever's listening, there is scenes where children die by their parents' bodies falling on top of them. There are moms that are murdered just while they're cooking their dinner. There's a brutal scene where he just tells a girl that he just murdered her entire family but wants to keep talking to her about One Piece. Like, he's a fucking
Who's your favorite character?
Yeah, that scene was so strange. Who's your favorite character? Zoro? Oh, good choice. Why are you crying? Like...
Damn. Oh, that sounds so good in, like, an awful way, of course.
Oh, yeah, it's
like,
so fucked. Yeah. He's a very fucked character, and they go into... and that's why I kind of got hooked on episode 3, because the whole third episode essentially is all about him and why he thinks the way he does, in a way, through viewing of his best friend. And, we'll talk about it later. I've been talking about Inuyashika for a while. But yeah, we're going to cover it on the podcast. We'll talk about it at some point. Woohoo!
And just when you thought we were all out of impressions to give and things to say, we had a speck of light in the depths of our current podcasting life when we found a new mail notification in our inbox. Da-ding!
Da-ding!
And it was from a dear Teresa, who, spoilers, we know and love, and she's amazing. Shout-outs, girl! And she gave us an email that said, in title, suggesting an anime I wish to be reviewed on Annie Chatbox. And the email goes as such. Hi, everyone. Heart. Okay, I asked this a while back and then completely forgot, but I am watching a really good show this fall season, and I was hoping it could be watched and reviewed by you guys. Oh my gosh, our honor. The show is called Sengoku Nightblood. If you could all do this, I would be forever grateful. Well, we are forever grateful to you, Teresa. Thank you so much for making us feel included in your watch session and respected as a podcast. We love and appreciate you so much. So, of course, we definitely plan to check the show out and give it a review. We actually all have just watched the first 3 episodes, and I think we're just going to give a little general impression on what we thought. Cassie, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but noted because it is it acts as essentially a viewer's choice. We are going to pass it and give it a full review.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this show is about the Sengoku era in Japan. There's a lot of historical references that I don't get, but I do appreciate because things. And it is based around I believe it's a mobile gacha, like otome game. Yep. Yeah. So you be collecting bishis. I know some gacha games because I play Fate Grand Order. And I know some of my other members over here play Love Live.
School out of festival.
If only Fate Grand Order wasn't such a pain for me to get. It's not actually available in my country, so...
Oh, really?
Another reason to move.
It's still not available here in the UK.
Oh my gosh. Come over here and play it on my iPad. You can just play on my... I opened it once.
John, you may also be able to port the Japanese version. I know Get did that, but I'm not going to go into details about porting games. And so anyway, this one again is, it's like a gacha game. It's otome. It's set in a historical period of Japan. And there is a female MC and lots of pretty boys. That's what we got.
Yeah.
And there are 2 distinct factions that our story seems to be focusing on. And one of the factions is full of vampires, and the other one is full of werewolves. And anyone else got some stuff to say that I missed?
I will say one good thing about this show.
Okay.
It is going to make a great drinking game.
Yeah. There's a lot of quirks.
I will say one additional good thing about this show. Rei Kugami is in it.
Yeah.
Yep, she is the female lead, which was quite a surprise.
And with that being said, I will say, I think that's where all the money of the show went.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. I mean, I'm hearing voices and I'm like, that sounds familiar. That sounds like someone I know from a different series, but I need to check and confirm when I can, because I actually can't remember who was who now. So
yeah, there's a lot of characters. There's a lot of boys. There is a lot of boys.
Is it weird that, like, out of the first 3 episodes, this is just maybe me, but we're thrown in and we don't even get time to really get to know them so much. Like, it gives us the premise of, the girl is going to be paired off with a guy in an episode, but even so, I'm like, I don't get you, glasses. I don't get you, redhead guy. Who are you, intro guy? What are your names again?
Yeah, and I think just from the brief other sorts of shows like this that I've seen, like, and Craig, have you seen Konkole, like Kantai Collection?
No, I've only seen clips, and I know it's based on a game, but go on.
I feel like oftentimes the main reason that these shows get funded is basically for the fans that actively play the mobile game. You know, that's where all the money is going into. And so in another show that I watched similarly, Touken Ranbu Hanamaru, they had like 1 million characters just like right out the gate. Very, very, very little exposition. And when I would like go into reading Mal comments and stuff, people who played the game were like, oh my gosh, I love this because they had a cameo of this character and then this character showed up. And I think it's like, basically, they're thinking of marketing, and they're like, as long as we get this character in, for
Yeah.
whoever, is a player and faves this character. Like, that's where the production drive is, rather than focusing on full fleshed out story and development for them, I guess, which, whatever makes you more money. It is definitely, it makes it a bit harder, I think, for like us who aren't involved in the world or the story to really like get immersed, because as you said, you're just kind of like, wait, who's this? What are they doing here?
It's weird. It's weird because I don't know Ken Kole, but I know in Love Live's case they formed an actual story. I could be wrong.
I think the game came out after.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The anime, then, in that case.
Yeah. Still.
In the case of Sengoku Nightblood.
Oh, you did it!
Yes, I forgot all about that. Damn.
We said we were gonna do that.
In the case of this series, since it is based on Sengoku character, not even characters, these are people that actually did exist in Japan's history.
True.
I think they've kind of gone like, these characters have come up in media and your own history lessons so much you should know everyone already and their basic backstories and stuff, so we're not gonna bother wasting your time with all that. And then you've got us filthy Westerners who have not been as involved in their lives.
Liar! I know who Nobunaga is.
Yeah,
I do
I
recognize that name.
I watch anime.
But
Sorry, I just wanted to make the joke.
Yeah, I was gonna say every feudal Japan anime has to have Nobunaga in it.
I know, but how many people beyond Nobunaga do you
Nope,
know?
not
That
any.
was the joke, John. You're supposed to laugh at my joke, not your own. What the heck?
But yeah,
I know
it's
about the Shinsengumi because I played Hakuoki, which is another visual novel. I can
I
tell you about
know
Okita
this-
Soji, but like...
Yeah, I too know this is Shinsengumi because of Kenshin.
I know,
Yes.
and it's like our only references are other anime.
Yeah,
And
so
it's
you're
just
right,
like,
we're filthy
so-
Westerners.
So we don't have all of that background knowledge to go like, oh yeah, I learned about this in history. How many
true.
of us learned anything about Japan in history beyond they took part in World War II?
As a Chinese major, I actually learned a lot about Japan, but mostly because they hate each other's guts, and there's a lot of reasons why.
Fair.
But I will say I do not remember a lot of the names. I just wanted to clarify, we're not all filthy casuals. God.
Wow. Oh my god.
Hey, I mean, like there was things referenced in the few episodes that were, I was like, this sounds familiar. I remember hearing about this particular kind of thing happening at some point. So it's like,
And I mean, I totally believe that all of these historical figures were all werewolves and vampires. Yeah. completely.
Yeah, of course they were.
Come on, that's canon.
And
of
when
course,
they
there are some historical inaccuracies in that department here.
and when they go to suck blood, they go Super Saiyan and have an
Oh
orgasm.
my god.
Listen, I mean, I might too. I'm just saying.
Whoa, Cass.
Have you ever sucked blood? How do you know that doesn't actually happen?
Exactly,
are we
Craig.
learning-
Have you
are
ever?
we-
Don't diss it until you try it. Don't kink shame, bro.
I'm not kink shaming. I'm just learning more stuff about both of y'all. And I have some comments, questions, and concerns. Mostly, are you healthy in ingesting other people's blood?
I was about to say, am I healthy? No.
Well, baby, that's the reason you got a cough.
Anyway, putting things back on track, I think one of the other things that I appreciate, if it hasn't already been said, my brain's starting to hurt, but me and Cammy were talking about how we did appreciate that this is apparently a game or a show at this point that does have a female character that not everybody is abusing right off the bat and basically using as basically like a piece of paper, a piece of meat. Like, there's a situation, for example, in episode 1 where you feel like it's going to be the cliche shove her down and have your way with her thing, and she says, please stop, and he's like, oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Like, it's nice.
Yeah, that was really nice.
And we have not had that thing happen every episode, too. That's another thing. They're not being repetitive with it. That being said, I don't think the story's that great so far, but we're only 3 episodes in, so it's a thing. It's there.
They tried introducing a plot, a subplot in these 3 episodes, and I said, watches it, probably comes back up towards the tail end, and this is just going to be the misadventures of man, girl, can't remember her name, and wolf boys, and vamp boys, as they all get together and be cute boys. God, the animation sucks. God.
It's not very good.
Lens flares, guys! It's out the wazoo! Just stop it.
We're still trying to deduce why there is a certain habit that the show has of putting like a very artsy-fartsy, like dramatic filter on shots when we're seeing them from the female protagonist point of view. If our research gleans any answers and actual solutions, you can look forward to that in our review.
Yep.
But it might just be there for kicks. So
It might just be there for kicks, or we did mention that, maybe the poor girl is colorblind and we're all just asshats.
Yes. Yes. So, yeah, I think that about sums it up pretty well.
Yep.
And that being said, that would round out everything that we were here to discuss this episode.
Nice.
So I will. Good job, you guys. We all did a very good job staying on topic and keeping concise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that means that we're actually not going over, we're going under. But, short podcast this week, guys. High five.
Yep.
Yay.
Yay! That being said, we look forward to you joining us on the next one. Have a good night, everybody!
Oyasumi, don't get sick like me.
Quit drinking blood.
Yes, Cassie, drink my blood!
Okay, I'm on
It's got
it.
magical healing properties.
Cammy, roll your R's one more time.
Come, fly with me, Kachinya.